This is it. The ultimate draft board secret has just been completely blown wide open, and the entire landscape of the first round will never be the same. Just days before we are officially on the clock, top insiders have leaked the exact identity of the offensive anchor our new front office is desperately targeting at pick number 11. If you thought you knew exactly how this draft was going to play out, brace yourself, because this shocking revelation changes absolutely everything. If you want to stay ahead of every single massive draft rumor and breaking update, crush that like button, share this video with a diehard fan, and subscribe right now. Are we actually about to witness the biggest, most unexpected draft night curveball in recent franchise history? For weeks, we have been frantically connecting the dots, analyzing every single mock draft, and agonizing over the future of this roster. Now, ESPN's premier draft analyst, Jordan Reid, has just dropped an absolute bombshell that has the entire fanbase completely spiraling. According to his deeply embedded sources, our brand new general manager, Jon-Eric Sullivan, has his sights aggressively locked onto Utah's powerhouse offensive tackle, Spencer Fano, for our 11th overall selection. This is not just a casual rumor thrown into the wind. This is a calculated, terrifyingly specific leak that exposes the very core of our draft strategy. The front office is apparently absolutely infatuated with Fano. They are looking at this absolute unit of a lineman and seeing a flawless, plug-and-play savior who can dramatically alter the culture of the trenches from day one. While the rest of the league is completely obsessed with flashy skill players and dramatic, unending quarterback controversies, we are quietly and methodically plotting in the shadows to secure one of the most fiercely athletic, dominant protectors in this entire collegiate class. The sheer excitement of finally fixing the offensive line is enough to make any diehard fan scream at their television. To truly understand why this pick is sending shockwaves through the community, we have to painfully look at our current, desperate situation on the offensive line. It has been a constant, agonizing source of frustration for years. We have practically begged previous regimes to properly invest in protecting our backfield, and they continually left us terrifyingly exposed. Right now, we are staring down the barrel of Austin Jackson entering a high-stakes contract year, carrying a massive cloud of durability questions that we simply cannot ignore. We have severe uncertainties haunting both the left and right guard positions. We are hoping Jonas Savaiania can miraculously transition into a reliable starting guard, and we are praying that Jamari Salyer can step up to compete. But let's be brutally honest. Hope is not a viable long-term strategy in this league. The only men we can truly sleep at night trusting are our all-pro center Aaron Brewer and our rapidly ascending left tackle, Patrick Paul. The rest of the line is a terrifying question mark. This is exactly where the genius of Jon-Eric Sullivan's Green Bay Packers lineage comes into play. For the last 15 years, the Packers have built absolute fortresses in the trenches by adhering to one strict, non-negotiable philosophy: extreme versatility. They demand offensive linemen who can seamlessly bump inside to guard or kick outside to tackle at a moment's notice. Spencer Fano is the ultimate embodiment of that exact philosophy. Yes, his arm length measured in a bit shorter than the league average of 33 inches, coming in around 32.13 inches, which immediately sparks debates about kicking him inside to guard. But when you turn on his tape, the sheer, explosive athleticism completely jumps off the screen. His lateral quickness is utterly phenomenal. When a blazing fast edge rusher tries to dip and bend around the corner, Fano's incredibly sudden feet completely stonewall them. He pulls with terrifying ease, violently hunting linebackers at the second level. He did not allow a single sack in a staggering number of pass-blocking snaps last season. He is exactly the kind of hybrid, position-fluid monster that a Green Bay-trained executive dreams about drafting. This brings us to a massive, fiery debate that is absolutely tearing our community apart right now. Here is the question of the day. Do you think passing on a generational, elite defensive game-changer just to draft a versatile offensive lineman like Spencer Fano at 11 will make you completely furious? Or do you believe it is the necessary, painful medicine this team desperately needs? Drop your absolute honest thoughts in the comments below right now, because I am reading every single one. Let's be completely real about where Spencer Fano actually sits on a true, elite draft board. If we are talking about the absolute peak, pipe dream scenario where somehow a transcendent defender miraculously falls right into our laps, everything changes instantly. If Ohio State's phenomenal defensive phenom Caleb Downs or Miami's relentless edge rusher Reuben Bain Jr. somehow slide out of the top 10, you sprint to the podium and you draft them without a single second of hesitation. You don't even overthink it. Furthermore, if we are strictly talking about pure, unadulterated offensive line talent, there are absolute titans who likely rank even higher. Miami's own Francis Mauigoa is arguably the premier tackle of this entire class. And if you want a pure, devastating interior force, Penn State's Vega Ione is an absolute mauler. Many respected scouts genuinely believe Vega Ione is the greatest interior prospect to enter the league since Quentin Nelson. I would absolutely place Ione above Fano in a heartbeat if we only needed a guard. However, the cold, hard reality of the modern draft is that players like Mauigoa, Ione, Bain, and Downs will almost certainly be violently snatched off the board long before the commissioner ever steps up to the podium and calls our name at 11. It is highly probable that 6 or 7 of those absolute elite, blue-chip prospects will be completely gone. So, while drafting Spencer Fano might technically feel like grabbing a consolation prize, it is an incredibly elite, top-tier consolation prize that instantly upgrades our weakest unit. The front office might fundamentally view Fano as the superior overall investment specifically because he offers that dual-threat capability to play both tackle and guard, whereas a pure prospect like Vega Ione is strictly locked into the interior. Now, the only way a miraculous slide happens for us at 11 is if absolute chaos erupts in the top 10, and the rumors currently swirling are wildly unpredictable. Let's look directly at the Cincinnati Bengals sitting right in front of us at pick number 10. Top insiders are heavily linking them to LSU's absolute lockdown cornerback, Mansour Delane. The Bengals' defense has been a glaring, painful weak spot, especially in the secondary, and grabbing a true, elite perimeter corner like Delane is practically a lock for them. But the real chaos agent in this entire draft might actually be the Cleveland Browns up at pick number 6. We all assumed they were aggressively targeting a wide receiver like Ohio State's Carnell Tate to fix their passing game. However, massive reports are leaking out of their building that they are absolutely infatuated with Alabama's towering offensive tackle, Caden Proctor. Proctor's stock is violently rising, and if Cleveland shockingly pulls the trigger on him at 6, it creates a massive, beautiful ripple effect. Every single surprise reach in the top 10 artificially pushes a superior, elite talent directly down the board toward us. We should all be desperately rooting for Caden Proctor to go early. But we also have to guard our hearts against the ultimate nightmare scenario, the Dallas Cowboys. The absolute last thing we want to see on draft night is Dallas aggressively leapfrogging us. Rumors are running rampant that they are desperately trying to trade up, potentially even with Arizona at 3, or jumping right ahead of us in a Cincinnati spot at 10. Why? Because Dallas urgently needs elite defensive talent, and they know exactly who we are targeting. They know we have our eyes locked on game changers like Ruben Bain Jr. and Caleb Downs. If Dallas trades up to pick 10, right in front of our faces, and violently steals Bain or Downs, it would be an absolutely devastating, heart-shattering moment for this franchise. We would be completely forced to abruptly pivot back to the offensive line, likely settling right back on a Spencer Fano while watching a generational talent wear a star on his helmet for the next decade. The draft board is a terrifying, high-stakes game of multidimensional chess, and we are sitting in the absolute most vulnerable, nerve-wracking spot imaginable. Finally, there is one more massive, heavily guarded secret hidden deep within this leaked ESPN report, and it has absolutely nothing to do with pick 11. It has everything to do with how we cap off the first round at pick number 30. Insiders are revealing that the Green Bay Packers are heavily scouting and deeply enamored with San Diego State cornerback Chris Johnson. Now, why on earth should we care about who the Packers like? Because our entire front office philosophy is currently being driven by a man who literally just left the Green Bay building. If the Packers scouting department is pounding the table for Chris Johnson, you better believe our scouting department is looking at the exact same tape with the exact same level of extreme excitement. Chris Johnson is an absolute freak of nature out on the perimeter. He was initially pegged by casual observers as a mid to late second-round sleeper, the kind of guy you hope falls to you on day 2. But after showing up to the NFL scouting combine and absolutely torching the track with a blazing, official 4.40 40-yard dash, his draft stock has completely and violently exploded. He is rapidly transforming from a late day 2 developmental project into a highly coveted, deeply respected late first-round lock. When you watch his collegiate tape, he plays with a fierce, aggressive tenacity that completely suffocates opposing wide receivers. He has the pure, unteachable speed to turn and run with absolutely anyone, and the disciplined technique to completely erase his side of the field. If we wisely use the 11th overall pick to secure our offensive trench with a heavily scrutinized, highly versatile weapon like Spencer Fano, or if we get incredibly lucky and land an elite, game-wrecking edge rusher, swinging right back around at pick number 30 to lock down an explosive, high-ceiling cornerback like Chris Johnson makes terrifyingly perfect sense. It completely aligns with absolutely everything this new, highly ambitious regime is trying to violently build: raw speed, aggressive versatility, and undeniable, game-changing athleticism. The countdown clock to the draft has officially begun ticking down. The chaotic war rooms are frantically finalizing their massive whiteboards, and we are about to proudly witness an absolutely franchise-altering night that none of us will ever forget.